How are things looking for the Graveyard Book film?
So the Graveyard Book film is currently at Disney. They got it about 11 years ago because Henry Selick, who made Coraline, was briefly at Pixar. And the idea was that they were going to do the Graveyard Book with Henry directing it as a Pixar film. And then a new head of Disney came in, and the first thing he did was sack Henry and can the film that Henry was making at the time, which I think was really tragic. And so they've been working on the Graveyard Book for about a decade, over in live action, and every year they write a script, and every year they call me up and tell me that they've just fired the writer and they're hiring somebody else to write another script. And I think we're at least 10 scripts in at this point. But I'm hearing that they've got a director now and another writer, and I'm just honestly waiting to see what's going to happen.
But no thought of serializing it?
It's one of those things where I have definitely had the conversation with Disney to go, why don't you make this into television? These days, it would be perfect for that. You wouldn't be having to deal with the what do we throw out question. You could put everything in. And by the same token, every now and again, people come up to me and go, we are very famous. We'd like to do the Graveyard Book as a play or a musical. And I will say to Disney, you could sort of try it out on the stage. Look, here is cool, famous people who make fabulous theater. They would like to do that. And Disney goes, nope, we're going to make a movie. And I don't know if ever they will. I don't even know, honestly, if they can. I'm trying to think of the last time Disney made a movie that was an original good live-action movie that wasn't a remake of something that they'd done as a cartoon. And I want them to make a good movie, and I hope that they do. But it's one of those things where pretty much everything else in my life that is getting made, I'm now part of. I'm part of Sandman. For about 30 years, people were trying to make Sandman movies that I had nothing to do with, and they kept me at a distance, and I would occasionally read scripts and go, oi, and there were some bad scripts. There was one script that was bad enough that I sent it to Ain't It Cool News in a brown paper envelope, and they wrote an article about how bad it was, and it killed that film, which was I got up to page 19 of that script. It was so, anyway. But so when we went out with Sandman as television, the thing that we were able to say is, this is the first Sandman that Neil will be part of. And I'm, so the Graveyard Book is the only one of the things right now that is not true, because it's like a sort of legacy project.
Do you like having that kind of involvement in the production of a film? I mean, I read, I don't know if this is true, that you sat through over 1,000 auditions for the character of Morpheus in Sandman. Is that true?
There were probably about, by the time they'd finished, I had to watch about 1,000, and which means that the casting directors probably had to watch about 5,000. And just for the record, Tom Sturridge was in the first email of links to things, and we all went, oh, he's really good. And then we saw another 300 or 400 and said, we think it's Tom. And Netflix were mostly convinced, but then COVID happened, and they went, well, seeing that we're not going to start shooting in May anyway, and we've got a while, let's just look at every other actor with good cheekbones on the face of the planet. And then it was like, okay, we watched them all, it's still Tom.